Hey, what's going on, guys? Got another video on this 1994 Toyota pickup. Gonna be replacing the front and rear differential gear oil along with the transfer case fluid. Okay guys, so before I get started here, I just want to show you what I'll be using today. So I got all this stuff off of walmart.com. I'll put a link in the description for it, but I just went with the Walmart brand Super Tech gear oil and then some of the transmission fluid. This stuff's reasonably priced, and then it's also pretty good stuff as well. So if you take a look here, this truck still has the original owner's manual from 1994, which is kind of cool. But if you open it up here, so we'll see what all it takes. And we'll start out with the transfer case. You can see this is a four-wheel drive, of course, but it has the automatic transmission, and it has the 3VZ-E 3.0 liter V6. And if you take a look here, fluid capacity is going to be dry fill 1.1 quart. Drain and refill, which is what we'll be doing, is 0.8 quarts. And then the fluid type is going to be ATF Dexron 2, which they don't make anymore. But I did get this Super Tech high mileage ATF fluid. You can see it says Dexron 3 down here. But if you flip it over here, you can see it meets the requirements for Dexron 2 right there. So I'll go ahead and use this for the transfer case, and like I said, it's going to be less than 1 quart, so this should be plenty. And if we move on here to the differentials, this is 4-wheel drive model, and it's not the ADD, so except ADD is going to be 1.6 quarts. And then it tells you the oil type, API GL5, and they want you to use gear oil, super oil. Not even sure what that is. But if you take a look here, for the recommended oil viscosity, it's calling for either SAE90 or ADW90. So I got 2 quarts of this. Well, actually 4 quarts. It's going to be the Super Tech ADW90, and you can see right here, API GL5, and it's showing the same thing for the rear as well, ADW90. So that's what I'll be using. So like I said, hopefully these 4 quarts is going to cover the front and the rear diff. If not, I got a little extra on hand I think I can try to find, but we'll go ahead and start out with this. So we'll go ahead and start out on the front differential. Okay guys, so go ahead and crawl underneath the front here. This is going to be your front differential. And I did drive this vehicle probably 20-25 minutes to get this oil nice and warm. You want to do that, especially this ADW90, so it flows out a lot easier. But this is going to be your fill plug here. It's going to be a 24 millimeter. So we're going to go ahead and remove that first, and then the drain plug. You always want to do the fill plug first. So get you a pan underneath just in case some comes out of the fill plug. Get your wrench on here, and these can be pretty tight. Get that broken free. Take this out by hand. You can see some of that's already coming out. So this is going to be your drain plug right here. It's going to be the same size, 24 millimeter. Except you can't use a wrench on this one. You're going to have to use a socket. So let's go ahead and try to get this one off of here. Just try not to slip off of there. And we'll go ahead and let that drain. Okay, so once that gets down to just a small drip like that, you can go ahead and grab your drain plug here. And there is a magnet on it, so you can go ahead and just get that all cleaned up. Get all those little metal shavings out of there. Get it nice and clean. Once you get that clean, we'll go ahead and stick it back up in there. And if you notice, there is a crush washer on this. I did forget to get new crush washers for this, so I will be reusing these. I've reused them before without any issues. But I will try to put a link in the description for some new crush washers for you guys. So take a look at that. But let's go ahead and Get this screwed up in here. Grab your 24 millimeter. Go ahead and tighten that up. Just get that nice and snug. And then go ahead and just wipe up all around there. Now let's go ahead and start filling. So go ahead and grab your new gear oil, and then you want to pull the cap off. Pull this off of here. And then what you can take is just a pair of dikes here. Just go ahead and cut an opening in there for your oil to flow through. Once you get the plastic off the bottle, you should have enough room now to go ahead and tilt this up in there. And then you can just kind of squeeze it into the differential there. What we're going to do is just keep squeezing this, and we're going to fill this until it starts running out of the fill hole there. Okay, once you get down towards the end of the first bottle, you can go ahead and grab your second one here, and you can just replace the cap from the other one onto your new bottle here. And you can go ahead and keep filling here. You can see right there, starting to leak out. So we'll go ahead and just let that drain out until it gets down to just a slow drip, and then we'll check our level. All right, so as you can see, we're just down to just a small drip now. So let's go ahead and check our level. What you want to do is just take an Allen key like this. You can stick this up in there, and then you're gonna bring it down and then lift it out. And if you take a look here, you can see we are full because our level is right there. Because as we sit this down in there, your level should be right at the top of this where it starts to curve. So I'm going to call that good. And then we'll go ahead and replace our drain or our fill plug. And same thing, there's a crush washer on this, which I'll be reusing. But go ahead and stick this in there. And go ahead and get that snug with your 24 millimeter. And it slipped right off of it. It's about like that. Should be good. And then again, just clean this up. And then I like to just hit that with some brake clean. And let's go ahead and move on to the rear. Okay, so moving on to the rear, it's going to be pretty much just like the front. Got your fill plug and then your drain plug right there. And it looks like whoever did this last, you can see this drain plug is kind of rounded. So I'm hoping I can get this off. So again, take your 24, and actually let me try my socket. Hopefully it ain't on there too tight. Yeah, I think I'm just rounding it off even more. and pull that one. So that's what that looks like, and not sure if this one has a crush washer or not. Well, if it did, there's not one on it, and you can see it wasn't leaking. So got that pulled. So now let's do the drain one here. Let me move my camera. So then go ahead and get your drain pan ready. And let's go ahead and remove this drain plug here. Same thing, 24 millimeter. And we'll go ahead and let that drain. And then same thing, while that's draining, you can go ahead and clean up this drain plug. And you see this one does have a crush washer on it. So let me go ahead and get this magnet all cleaned up here. You can see that nasty stuff that's on there. Okay, so once that gets down to just a drip, go ahead and replace your drain plug here. And go ahead and tighten that up. Get that nice and snug. And clean that up. As you guys saw, that was some pretty nasty gear oil that came out of there. And then same thing, went ahead and cut my cap here. Go ahead and get that on. And let's go ahead and start filling. And again, we'll go until it starts flowing out of the fill plug here. Make sure you got your drain pan ready to collect the excess. Okay, so there's the first quart. Okay, so there's 2 quarts, and you can see it's still not flowing out. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab what's left from the front one there, and we'll go ahead and see if we can add it to this and see if we can get it to flow out. Okay guys, so this is what's left from the front one, but what I also did was just from these other rear ones, I just went ahead and dumped these all into the same one, and I'd say I got maybe half a quart. Let's go ahead and see if we can get this to spill out of here. Okay guys, so even with all those quarts combined, I did use all 4 quarts. Maybe a little bit left in here, but not much. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll get my Allen key and let's just see where our level is at. See if we're even close. And if we're not close, then I'll get some more oil here. Okay, so here's my Allen key. Let's go ahead and just stick this in. Bring it down level. And actually it looks like we are spot on. You can see it starts to get wet right where it curves, which that would be even with the bottom. So it'd be sitting in there like that. And let's just go ahead and double check just to make sure. You can see it's dry now. Tilt it downward, get it level, bring it out, and yeah, so I'm good with that. That is pretty much perfect level right there actually. So then go ahead and take your fill plug, and like I said, there's no crush washer on this one, so I'm not sure if it was supposed to have one or not, since I didn't do the service on this before. But it was not leaking, as you guys saw, so I'm going to go ahead and just replace this. Get that back up in there. Go ahead and get that snug. Like that. And then you can just hit that with some brake clean as well. Now let's go ahead and move on to the transfer case. Okay, so for the transfer case here, the drain plug is right here, but you can see you got this little shield here. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. That way it doesn't make a mess and drip all down in there. So you got two 12mm bolts. Go ahead and remove that. And then of course you got your fill plug here, and then your drain plug. So let's go ahead and remove the fill plug, and that's going to be just like the front and rear 24mm. Get your drain pan ready in case that leaks out. There's that. And then for your drain plug, you're going to want to get a 10mm hex or Allen socket for that. And then go ahead and try to get that loose. Get that broken free. And then go ahead and pull your drain plug here. Go ahead and let that drain. And same thing, while you're letting that drain, you can go ahead and clean up that drain plug here, the magnet on that. Okay, so we're down to a drip on that. Got my drain plug all cleaned up. And this will have a crush washer as well. You can go ahead and stick that back in there. Tighten that up. Get that nice and snug. Okay guys, so to get the automatic transmission fluid up into the transfer case here, it's going to be a little bit difficult because it's not like the front and rear differential where you can just squeeze it up in there. So what I'm going to be using is this pump here. I got this off Amazon as well. I've used it on other vehicles. But pretty much what we'll do is this is going to sit right inside the pump there, or the transmission fluid there. And then what we can do is just start pumping this up into the fill hole there. So go ahead and remove your lid here. Get your paper off here. And then you can go ahead and just drop this down in there. And this will actually screw right on there. And then what you can do, go ahead and stick this up in there in your fill hole, and it will kind of lock itself in there. And then we'll go ahead and just start pumping until we use all the quart, or if it starts spilling out of there. So you can see it start to feed up in there. So just keep pumping, and your hand will get tired doing this. So So just take your time. You can see we're pretty close, and it looks like it's actually starting to spill out a little bit. You can see. Just try and use the rest of this. Tilt it if you have to. I'm going to say about there. So go ahead and pull this out of here. And then we'll go ahead and check our level with our Allen wrench. So now we'll go ahead and check our level. Got my clean Allen wrench here. Go ahead and stick that up in there. Tilt it down to its level with the hole. Pull it out of there. And you can see, so we are just shy. So we're about right here, and we should be right about here. So we need just a little more. Okay guys, so there's still like probably about that much left in there. But like I said, this straw is too short to reach it. So I think what I'm gonna do, just grab my rag here, and I'm just gonna try and pull on this just to right where it's at the end. So maybe just stick it on like that much. Let's see if that gives us enough to get the rest of this pumped up in there. So I'll just kind of turn it like that. And then go ahead and stick this back down in there. Tighten this all the way down on here. And let's just see if we can get a little more in here. So I think that probably did it, but let's just gonna tilt this kind of upward to get the rest of that down in there. And you can see there's still just a little more in this tube here. Let's see if we can get the rest of that up in there. See it coming down. So like that, go ahead and pull this out, and let's go ahead and check that level again. So then grab your Allen key again here, and go ahead and stick that up in there. Take a look. So now it looks like did raise it. We're still just a little bit below that, but I'm going to call that good. There's still plenty of fluid in there, and as you saw when we pulled this off, there wasn't any coming out of it. Let me just check one more time just to make sure. So yeah, you can see how close we are. You can see where it's wet there. So I'm going to call that good. So one cord will do that. Like I said, you just have to do what I just did and just kind of pull that straw down just a little bit so you can get that little tiny bit that's left in the quart up in there. So then take your fill plug here. Make sure that's nice and clean, along with the crush washer. Go ahead and stick that up in there. Take your 24 millimeter. And go ahead and get that snug. Just like that. Take a brake clean, go ahead and spray that off. And then don't forget to get your little skid plate back on there. With your two 12 millimeter bolts. do it for the video. Again, this was a 1994 Toyota pickup. Went ahead and replaced the front and rear differential gear oil along with the transfer case fluid. Really simple to do on these trucks, and hopefully this video helps you out. If it does, why don't you subscribe to the channel, check out all my other videos. I got a few on this truck alone, so check those out, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.